Welcome to this amazing interview. I have my great client, Cheyenne Vasquez, here from Greater Boston area, right, Cheyenne?
Yeah, that's right, Jackie.
You,
Right. Greater
you
Boston, north of Boston, Lawrence, Methuen, Haverhill area, southern New Hampshire is what I cover.
Perfect, amazing. And I asked you to come out and do this interview with me today, Cheyenne, because in July, we're in August as we're recording this, July of 2022,
Mhm.
you took 5 listings and you said it's been your best month for listings taken in your real estate career, like ever? Is
Yeah, definitely, Jackie. I was part-time for a very long time, although I've had my license for like 8 years. I mean, I was young when I got it. I was not taking it serious whatsoever. And then when the pandemic happened is when I discovered you, and I'm like, I'm all in on this. I really want this to work.
yeah.
So yeah, 5 listings in the month of July was my best month yet, and I can't wait to see how I
I
could do better.
know. Keep that growing, right?
Yep,
That's
yep.
amazing. So Cheyenne, you actually started like working with me and my sales X training, and I actually looked this up before our interview today. It's been about a year and 5 months, getting close to a year and a half.
Yeah, definitely, Jackie. And I'll give you a little bit on that. When I first
Yeah.
joined, I didn't actually start until 4 months later because my grandfather had passed. So I
Mhm.
had put everything on hold and then like picked it up. So like I want to say like June is when I
Okay.
started, you know,
Okay.
staying on the platform and like fully engaging and everything.
So June of 2022, July 21, July of 2022 is when you took 5 listings. And I know Cheyenne, you told me the biggest the biggest growth opportunity in terms of prospects for you has been FSBOs.
Well, yeah, a combination of both, I would say.
Okay.
But the five that I took in the month of July were actually mostly for expires and cancels, Jackie. There weren't any FISBOs in that
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah.
That's great too. Expired. I love expired listings. That you told me though that you before you started Sales X, you were already calling expired. You had never called a FSBO.
Never, Jackie. I was barely, to be honest, even though I was calling expires, I was doing a lot of like circle prospecting and
Right.
really with no direction or like goal of where I was going. It was like finding people who would be interested in working with me in the future and just adding them to the database and
So
wasting tons of money mailing.
mailing to these people that you
Yeah,
would find circle prospecting. Yeah, because I
right.
remember you mentioned mailings too. And so I know this is a huge, you mentioned this shift for you
Mhm.
after you've been through my training, and it's really making calls, prospecting to set appointments, not just to get leads. That's such a huge mindset shift, attitude, approach, the whole thing, right? It's a huge shift because even there are moments when you just feel like, okay, I gotta make calls for 3 hours, or I gotta talk to this many people, but you're not getting any results. How did that change in focus happen for you? Like, tell us how did it happen?
Well, Jackie, it was you talk about it on your platform. It's like you plateau, you hit different, you see some success, then you see no success, but you stay at it and you keep finding bits and pieces, these light bulb moments. And for like the circle prospecting, even any prospecting, Jackie, that I was doing, it was with no direction. I wasn't going for appointments, like no direction in the conversation of what's the goal here, adding them to my database and letting them sit there. So that's been like the biggest thing for me since I joined SalesX is I prospect now for appointments. That's my goal. I'm not interested in contacts. I'm interested in meeting people and getting face to face and getting a listing signed. That's my goal.
Wow, that's so amazing. It makes me so excited to hear this because, eh, you know, Cheyenne, and maybe you know, maybe you don't know. There are a lot of coaches, trainers, people on YouTube that are telling agents just, you're going to get a lot of leads and you're going to be following up on all these leads, and one out of who knows how many would actually be able to give you an appointment. Like, what's up with that? It drives me crazy. So I love when you hear, and I hear you saying this because that changes everything.
Yeah, no, 100%, Jackie. That was the biggest thing that I had is like you would think something's a lead and from your platform it's like I'm way more effective. I'm like this isn't a lead. This
Right.
isn't somebody who I should add to my database. It's going to be future business. So through your program, I've been able to really focus on the motivated sellers and not waste my time with people who are telling me, yeah, I may be interested.
Cheyenne, another question. I remember you said either you didn't know how to close or you weren't closing. I mean, if you're not prospecting for appointments, you're just not asking for it, right? So,
Right, right.
so how did you learn that? Like, what do agents have to do? There are a lot of brand new agents that come to my YouTube channel, where they're going to be watching this now and they're wondering, okay, well, I'm brand new. You've been in real estate for 8 years. What do I do? How do I learn to do what you're doing so I can take 5 listings a month?
Right. What would be like my advice, you mean, to these
Yes.
new agents?
Yeah.
It would be, well, first of all, to sign up for your program, because for the money, this program should be way more expensive. And I'm grateful that we have the opportunity for the price to jump on this platform that's completely changed my life. And there's a lot of coaches out there, like you said, that they teach these methods of like this long process of like, hey, you're going to get a lead, then you're going to mail them and do this and that. With you, it's like you cut through all the BS. You get directly to the point of what your job is. It's to set an appointment, go out and take the listing. And
Yeah.
so effectiveness, I think, is the number one thing through you that I've learned, is to not waste my time. I'm not trying to be on the phone for 10 hours a day with
Right.
no appointments. That's not the goal.
Right, right, right. Yeah, well, I don't have patience for that either. So good. I'm glad you're here. You also said something about, and by the way, thank you for the saying, go join Sales X. I didn't ask you to say that, so thank you. You mentioned, Cheyenne, that was it December of last year during the holidays, you had your biggest sale, and it
Right.
was a for sale banner. How much was that commission?
Yeah, Jackie, and it wasn't even the first FSBO that I took last year, because I'll say one thing about your scripts. Even when I didn't have them internalized, I would read them and they were powerful. I was able to set the appointment and go out. Didn't even have the presentation mastered or anything. And
Right.
just through the script, I was able to list these for sale by owners. So the for sale by owner that I listed was a multifamily,
Yeah.
and we listed it around 740. With the market, it ended up selling at like 800 or 5,000. And it was the biggest commission that I took home. I think it was like 21,000, give or take,
My
around that.
God. Yeah,
So I
that's
mean, for me,
great.
that was huge. I've never seen that amount of money. So
That's
I was
so
very
cool.
grateful and
That's so
motivated
cool.
because of that.
And that was during the
Christmas,
end of the year, right?
Christmas, Jackie, you had a lesson where you talked about that when people get slowed down during that time, it's our time to get in there. It was a day after Christmas, Jackie. Held the open house, had about 60 people come by, multiple offers, and it was sold. I
Incredible.
entered the new year with a nice commission.
I know, that's so amazing. That is just really cool. And not to some people, whether it's my training or whatever, investing in themselves. Sales X training, I know you're an annual member, it's 9.99 for the year. That one commission, you had never called FSBOs before you started working with me, that was 21,000. Your training is
Never,
90, it's a
never.
thousand a year. So it's like it's a no-brainer, for sure. The investment is well worth it. Cheyenne, you also said something about mindset, mental toughness. I have a day there are over 100 lessons dedicated to just working on your belief in yourself. And you said to me, like, it's changed who I am. Like, my family, my friends, they notice. Tell me more about that. What is the shift been for you, the change there?
The shift for me, Jackie, has been a complete attitude change. Like, I'm in love with my pre-prospecting routine, as weird as it sounds. It's like a part of me, getting up early, getting myself mentally prepared for, the let's call it the abuse, and I'm going to get on the phones before I get to that one yes. And just in general, just through you, I've learned, besides a pre-prospecting routine, getting into positive mindset, all these books and everything has just changed me. And I mean, even just like the way that I speak, I've been told by my family and friends, like, man, you're really not the same person anymore. Like, you seem really different. And it's like the positive mentality. They tell me, like, man, you're like really positive now. And it's like, people love being around me. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and it makes you feel good too, for sure. So, for somebody who has no idea what the pre-prospecting routine is, tell them. What are you talking about?
Okay, so Jackie teaches us that we have to be mentally prepared. We have to be at 10 by the time we get on the phones every morning, 8 to 12. We're going to be on the phone. So I get up early. I'm up anywhere between 4 and 5, depending on the type of gym workout I'm going to do or whatnot. I do my gym routine, and through that whole routine, I'm on Jackie's platform listening to mindset. I'm listening to role plays. I don't listen to music anymore. My car and the gym time is like me getting mentally ready, doing my affirmations and getting mentally prepared, to hit those phones and be in that mental state where I'm like, I'm not calling to just call. I'm calling because this person's going to set an appointment with me, and that's my goal. And without it, Jackie, I'll be honest with you, I've had days where, we've heard some people, in the program who don't do it, and they even talk about how they just don't feel on. So for me, when I don't do it, Jackie, my whole day is like it's not the same.
I
So it's been a complete game changer for me.
I have my morning routine too. It's not a pre-prospecting routine anymore. I used to do it when I was selling, but I still have a morning routine. And without it, I'm not the same either. My the days just it's just different. You're not at the top of your game. You're not the
Right.
best you can be. There's so much to be said about starting the day rather than a lot of people, not just real estate agents, they wake up in the morning and they go check their email, and then they go on social media. They spend time on Facebook and Instagram. What is that doing to empower you to have a great morning as an
Right.
agent, especially? If you're not prospecting, or you're like you said, you're prospecting to just get leads, like what a waste of time. Yeah.
Exactly.
Diane, outside of joining sales X training, what advice would you give to a brand new agent that wants to get where you're at now, say taking 5 listings a month as quickly as possible? What would you say they need to do?
What would I say? And before I say what I'm going to say, I'm going to precede that with, I don't know Jackie. I found Jackie through YouTube, and somebody had recommended me the program. So what I'm going to say is from the bottom of my heart. If you want to get good at this, you need a coach. And I wish that I would have signed up for this years ago and discovered you, because there's a lot of BS out there, and there's a lot of other things that you can do that are going to waste your time. You don't have time to waste. You want to do this full time, I would recommend join SalesX. Jackie didn't tell me to say that. Learn everything you can, because I mean the platform is there. You could log on, listen to anything that you need, and just the mental aspect of it. This is a tough business,
Mm.
especially as a new agent. It's going to be a lot that you have to learn, and mentally, you're going to feel weak because you don't know much. You're not going to feel confident, and through this program, that's what you're going to gain. You're going to gain that self-belief that I'm never going back to a regular job again, because I know if I stay on the phone long enough, I'm going to get an appointment.
Wow. That
Yeah.
is being empowered. I just like there's no words. That's the best word for it. You said something too about taking the path of least resistant, right? This is not easy. What do you mean by, because everybody's looking for something easy. And this is taking 5 listings a month. It's going to get easier and easier, right? I always say everything is hard before it's easy, but it's not easy. If you're brand new to real estate and you don't want to prospect and you're afraid to get hung up on, this is you got to develop some skills here, right?
Right.
Talk to me about this path of least resistant. What were you referring to when you mentioned that?
Well, the path of least resistance is staying on the phone, waiting for somebody to call you, working with buyers, showing homes, hoping that they'll put an offer on it. That's the path of least resistance, is not waking up early, doing this pre-prospecting routine and hitting the phones regardless of the result. I mean that's really what it is, Jackie. I mean the path of least resistance is working with buyers and not going after listings, because you're going to get a lot of no's and you're going to get told off. People are going to be mean, and it's the best path to take, because I'm confident that regardless of what market it is, I have the skills to survive. And thankful to you because of you.
Well, you're very welcome. I guess overall, everything you're doing and that you started doing and that you've learned requires discipline. And you know how I talk so much about discipline, self-discipline is a form of freedom. Right now, you feel like you could do anything. It doesn't matter. You're not afraid of the market. You know exactly what to do to get results rather than just not having any discipline, taking the path of least resistance and being broke, in the end. That's what it leads to. Cheyenne, what's the most important skill you've learned? That skill in terms of what to say, how to say it. When you speak with a for sale by owner now, what is the most important thing you've learned that's getting you appointments and listings?
Above all, Jackie, above, learning my scripts and internalizing them, above everything, what I'm most grateful for is the mindset aspect of it, because
Mm.
you have to believe that you can do it, and it takes time to get there. But you just stay in that, let's call it, you just stay in that pocket, you stay in that fire, and it'll mold you. You start seeing a little bit of progress, and you'll see some failures, but as long as you stick with it, you're gonna change. You're gonna have success. So that's the biggest thing for me, was the mindset, and it took me a while. With affirmations and everything else that you teach. I wish if I could go back, I would do everything that you said, because bit by bit I would do a little bit here, a little bit there. I just wish I did it to the T, like most people
Oh,
do.
watch
Yeah.
that. You're a human being. You're not perfect. You're not doing everything, and you're still like major improvement. It's so exciting to hear, Cheyenne.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you
mean,
so much.
first few months, Jackie, I'm sorry, first
Yeah.
few months in your program, I picked up like 2 or 3 FSBOs. That was last year, and I
Wow.
didn't know the scripts. I was just reading them.
Really?
So I mean, it's
And what
effective.
were you doing on the listing presentation? Just kind of
Uh,
wing a little bit?
you're Your netting for sale by owner, netting for sale by owners
Yes.
listing presentation, I would, try to use as many bits and pieces of that. But I think for me, what it was is, you say it in your lessons, energy and enthusiasm is contagious. So for me, people have told me, it's like, wow, I feel like I can trust you. Like you really, I believe you. So I
Right.
think that's what kind of made up for me. I mean.
So even in the first couple of months, I know you said you didn't know the script. You were just reading it over the phone. You set appointments and just through and listen, in my for beginning of my real estate career, that's what did it for me too. I had no clue what I was doing. So it works, right?
Oh, it works. You
Yeah.
just have to believe.
And then when you're able to actually start learning what to say and having the skills and having the mindset, believing in yourself, mixed with the energy and enthusiasm, unstoppable.
100%. I agree with you, Jackie. That's so true.
Yeah, so cool. So excited for you, Cheyenne. I can't wait to hear, like, today's August 9th. Yeah. What August is going to bring and September and every month getting better and better and better and just staying focused and improving yourself and getting better results. So,
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like 5 is nothing now. My whole mindset's like 5 is nothing. I know I could do like 10 or 15. I just need to keep at it and have the belief. And I believe it.
100%. I believe it too. I know you can, and I can't wait to hear. I can't wait to hear about that and the progress to that. Thank you so much, Cheyenne, for taking the time. I know you're busy. You got stuff to do, listings to take. So I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, Jackie, for creating the platform and helping me bring my career to the next level.
You're
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye bye.